Violence has broken out in several cities across Mexico, hours after the army confirmed it had killed one of the country's most feared drug lords. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, was the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. He was shot in a dawn raid and died from his injuries. Mexico said the operation was carried out with US intelligence. Will Grant reports.
Nemesio Oseguera, known as El Mencho, was quite simply the most wanted drug lord in Mexico. Responsible for trafficking huge quantities of cocaine, methamphetamine and fentanyl into the United States, he'd evaded the authorities for years, until now. So far, the Mexican military has not released images, but El Mencho was injured during a raid in Jalisco State and then died while being taken to Mexico City. The Mexican embassy in the US said it was carried out with US intelligence. The reaction from his cartel has been immediate and violent. Unverified pictures, thought to be filmed in Puerto Vallarta on the Jalisco coast, show plumes of smoke rising over the tourist hotspot. And there's destruction across Mexico, including in Guadalajara, one of the host cities of this summer's FIFA World Cup. The US has warned its citizens to shelter in place as the violence unfolds. The killing of El Mencho represents a clear victory for President Claudia Sheinbaum and for President Trump, who's long demanded more progress on tackling Mexican cartels. But with some Mexican cities in flames, it's not yet clear at what cost. Will Grant, BBC News, Mexico.
Jordi Labraya is an independent journalist based in Mexico. He gave us this update.
Well, it's been nearly 12 hours since the news spread out that El Mencho, the most wanted criminal, not only in Mexico or the United States, but globally in the world, was killed, was held by the authorities, and then when he was transported to Mexico City in a plane to a hospital, he passed away. So the reactions were immediately violent across all over Mexico. In 9 of the states in Mexico suspended school classes for tomorrow, and in at least 15 states have been road blockage and violent reactions from cartel members. So it's really messy in Mexico now, and the government hasn't spoke openly about it, just briefly. And we're in a state of fear and waiting for more actions to be held by cartel members. We know that we're going to face violent actions. We're facing a war in Sinaloa because of the transportations of, in a matter of speaking, of El Mayo to the United States. So that it was a huge leader also, but this specific killing from in the hands of Mexican authorities, we're expecting that we're going to have more violence, and the Mexican government obviously is calling to peace and calling to calm, but there is no calm. There are many businesses being burned, many roads being closed by criminals, and trailers, particular cars being held by criminals and then burned. So we're in a war zone specifically.